am Brooklyn Book Belle, aka Felicia. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. How's everyone doing? I feel like I lost a full day of life by being irresponsibly intoxicated all day yesterday. And so, no makeup today. Just this part of my hair got curled, okay? That's all I got for y'all. Mama's bringing in the new year, okay? Ridiculous. How's everybody though? I hope everyone had a great Christmas. And I got to hang out with my mama. That was great. She has now gone home, but now she's sick. So we're sending healing energy to Nona. Shout out to Nona in the chat. Yeah, I hope she feels better really soon. And make sure you're washing your hands. And y'all, it might be time to pull the mask out. I ain't even gonna hold you. It might be time to pull the mask out. Y'all, the cold foam in a can really just, whoo, unblocks my Glock. You know what I mean? Like, Is it 2 o'clock and I am guzzling down this huge cup of coffee? Yes, don't judge me. You know what I'm saying? Woo, okay. So focus, Felicia. ADHD. Y'all, it's been rough. Okay, so this video is to talk about the 25 books that I am really super excited to read in 2025. I'm also gonna center myself because you don't see me. Okay, listen, one of them days. But yeah, so we are here to talk about the 25 books that I would like to make sure that I read in 2025. I'm really super excited. I don't know if we get to year 2030 if I'm gonna do a list of 30 books. I live by myself. Nothing over there should be making no noise. What was that? I'm not gonna go look. I'm scary. Okay. But I don't know if I'm gonna continue doing like the year number and then that many, you know, amount of books. I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing that, but it has, you know, kind of been a fun thing these last few years in the early 2020s. You know, but as we go up, I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing that. But so I have 25 books, and I do just want to say, like, last year, my 24 most anticipated books, I pretty much cleared that list. I think if I go back and I look, because Mama's got a new toy, y'all better be ready for me, okay? In 2025, y'all better be prepared. I didn't read that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I didn't read 13 of the books. Possibly 14. We're gonna give 13 an impossible. So I do this just mainly to kind of like say books that I might gravitate towards or that, you know, I am kind of excited to read. I'm probably gonna be less likely to read like a memoir, and I want to do better with that. Like, I got Ketanji Brown's book this year and I didn't read it. I wanted to read the Etta James and Marilyn Monroe book. Did not read it. So I tried to like make sure that if I put a book on this list that it would be one that I would more than likely gravitate towards. I think it's really difficult with my favorite indie authors to kind of gauge when they're gonna be releasing books. They like to surprise us. Okay, you bitches think y'all are Beyonce. I like that, but it kind of like is difficult to be like, oh, this person's gonna have this many books. Like, some people are really good at it, some people are not. So you know what, Felicia, it's me. I need to be like on their mailing list and things like that. I just be on social media and be like, oh my God, they dropped the book, go read it. I'm like that. But maybe we could put that as one of my goals for 2025. Get on more email lists, but I don't check emails. So that kind of is a moot point. Okay. Let's get into the list because I could sit here and chat all day. Okay. The first book on my list is Fearless and Free by the Josephine Baker. When I think of like the pantheon of people who I would want to be at a dinner with, dead or alive, Josephine Baker is there, and so is James Baldwin. You will always see me be like, I gotta read James Baldwin. now Josephine Baker. She got a book coming out. So this is Josephine Baker in her own words. Josephine Baker took Paris by storm in the 1920s. We're in the 2020s. I feel like this is appropriate. Dazzling audiences with her humor, beauty, and effervescence on stage. She became an icon. Hemingway, Jean Cocteau, and Picasso admired her. Shirley Bassey adored her. I swear in all my life, I have never seen and probably never shall see such a spectacular singer and performer. It was told she strolled the streets of Paris with her pet cheetah, who wore a diamond collar. Like, this is my kind of lady. Later, as one of the most recognizable women in the world, she became a spy for the French resistance, her celebrity working as her cover. She was awarded the Légion d'honneur for her military service. I need to learn French. After the war, she became increasingly interested in civil rights. In 1963, she spoke at the March on Washington alongside Martin Luther King Jr. All of this from a girl born in Missouri to a poor, single black woman and a white father she didn't know. Flirtatious, funny, candid, and this memoir gives us the wildly famous but elusive Josephine Baker telling her own story. The book was formed from a series of conversations with the French journalist Marcel Savage over a period of time, or a period of more than 20 years, and this book offers an entertaining insight to one of the most interesting and beguiling figures in the 20th century. I think Josephine Baker was that girl. Okay, she had her rainbow coalition of kids before Angelina Jolie. She walk around Paris with a cheetah. It's the kind of lady I want to be. Honestly, I love her. So I can't wait to read this book. Like, literally, it has already been pre-ordered. It has amazing ratings for people who already have the book, which is really cool. And so I am ready to go. All right. The next book on my list is Losing Sight by Tati Richardson. Tati, over the last year and a half, has become one of my must-read authors. Like, day of release, here we go. This is the thing. And what's funny is I already have a digital copy of the book, but it's on BookFunnel, and BookFunnel is not my favorite way to read a book. The app is clunky and it made me very frustrated the first 5 chapters of this book that I was trying to read. And I was just like, you know what? Pre-order the book. Just read the book in comfort when it comes out. So shout out to Tati. She knows I love her. But I will be waiting until I physically have the book in my hand to finish it, because me and BookFunnel were not getting along. It wasn't for us. But Losing Sight is what if a mysterious pair of glasses helped you to see life and love clearly. Sports reporter Tanika Nikki Ryan is at the top of her game until she isn't. Squinting at the teleprompter and fumbling lines, she loses her coveted Thursday night football spot to a younger, less qualified woman, and that's only the start of her troubles. After her impaired sight leads to an accident nearly costing her her life, Tanika finds herself in the office of a handsome, widowed optometrist, Gideon Miles. I got to that part of the book. Their mysterious circumstances lead Tanika to an enchanted pair of glasses, changing her world and Gideon's forever. With help from her boss chick village and a bit of magic, Tanika finally learns to see the love that's right in front of your eyes. In this high heat and hilarious rom-com that harkens to the golden age of Black romance, celebrated novelist Tati Richardson proves life is sweeter after the age of 40 and gives readers of all ages reason to believe in second chances. Listen, I love this crossover of romance and magic. Like, shout out to Tia Williams with A Love Song for Ricky Wilde. Like, the ladies are really doing it, and I fuck with that shit heavy. So what I read of the book already, I was loving it. Again, it was just the app I couldn't deal, and that's just a me thing. But I have already pre-ordered Losing Sight by Tati Richardson, and I am super excited to be able to finish it once I have it in my hand. Okay, the next book on my list is The Life of Herod the Great by the Zora Neale Hurston. This one, I didn't know she had a new book, or that they were publishing something posthumously of her, but Zora Neale Hurston's unpublished novel revealing the historical Herod the Great, not the demon the Bible makes him out to be, but a religious and philosophical man who lived a life of adventure. In the 1950s, after publication of Moses, Man of the Mountain, Zora Neale Hurston set out to write a novel that would set the record straight about one of history's most maligned figures. If Hurston's Moses challenges the Old Testament Testament version of the ancient Hebrew leader by suggesting that Moses was actually an Egyptian, Hurston's Herod challenges the New Testament version of the tyrant who supposedly ordered the deaths of many children in order to save the Christ child, as recorded in the book of Matthew, by suggesting that he was actually a forerunner of Christ. Listen, Zora Neale Hurston is an author historically that raised me, right? I can remember the first time I read Their Eyes Were Watching God, and I was just like, oh, in like the 9th or 10th grade. And so this book is high up on my list. I am really super excited to kind of delve into this what if type situation historically. I think that's an interesting concept, and I'm really super excited to hop in there. Okay, the next book on our list is Dream Count by Chimamanda Adichie. Love Adichie. It can be difficult to be a lover of Adichie sometimes. I'm just gonna take a sip. We all get it. But Dream Count is coming out this year, and a publishing event 10 years in the making, a searing, exquisite new novel by the best-selling and award-winning author of Americana. Woo! And We Shall All Be Feminists. The story of 4 women and their loves, longings, and desires. I don't want to mess up this name. The main character is a Nigerian travel writer living in America. Alone in the midst of the pandemic, she recalls her past loves and grapples with her choices and regrets. Her best friend is a lawyer who has been successful at everything until betrayed and brokenhearted. She must turn to the person she thought she needed least. Their other friend is, or one of the other ladies in the group is a bold, outspoken cousin and is a financial powerhouse in Nigeria who begins to question how well she knows herself. And lastly, the main character's housekeeper is proudly raising her daughter in America, but faces an unthinkable hardship that threatens all she worked to achieve. In Dream Count, Adichie trains her fierce eye on these women in a sparkling, transcendent novel that takes up the very nature of love itself. Is true happiness ever attainable, or is it just a fleeting state? And how honest must we be with ourselves in order to love and to be loved? Whoa, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. But it's kind of giving like, maybe a play on like, or it's women's fiction. So it's going to be like these 4 stories happening at the same time. I don't really like when there are multiple stories happening at the same time, but I'm going to give it a chance. You know, just to see how I can get up in there. I'm gonna give it a little try. Test this thing out. Okay, the next book on our list is Harlem Rap City by Victoria Christopher Murray. And I just want to say to all the people that already have the book, you know, like, you think you better than us? Y'all think y'all better than us? Y'all ain't better than us. No, I'm just playing. But I did see a lot of creators get this book, and just from the raving reviews, I'm super excited to hop into this one. I've never read anything by Victoria Christopher Murphy, so this will be a new to me author. But the extraordinary story of Jessie Redmond Faust whose exhilarating world of friends, rivals, and passions all combined to create the magic that was the Harlem Renaissance, written by Victoria Christopher Murray. She was a co-author of The Personal Librarian, y'all. I lied. I love that book. Oh, shoot. I got to remember authors who write books that I like. That's crazy. I read The Personal Librarian, and it was wonderful. So in 1919, as civil and social unrest, I be out here just saying shit. In 1919, as civil and social unrest grips the country, there's a little corner of America, a place called Harlem, where something special is stirring. Here, the new Negro is rising, and Black pride is evident everywhere in music, theater, fashion, and the arts. And there, on stage, in the center of this resistance, is Jessie Redmond Faust, the new literary editor of preeminent Negro magazine, The Crisis. W.E.B. Du Bois, the founder and editor of The Crisis, has charged her with discovering young writers whose words will change the world. Jessie attacks this challenge with fervor. Yes, quickly finding 16-year-old Countee Cullen, a 17-year-old Langston Hughes, and Nella Larson, who become one of her best friends. Under Jessie's leadership, The Crisis thrives. The writers become notable, and magazine subscriptions soar. Listen, I moved to New York because of Harlem, okay? Like, Harlem was like this beacon to me as a young person of just like a place where like change happens and revolution happens and creativity flourishes and like all these things. So I am super, super, super excited to read this book, and I have read something by Victoria Christopher Murphy. If you haven't read The Personal Librarian, Go pick it up. It was great. Okay. What do we have next on the docket? A More Perfect Party. The night Shirley Chisholm and Diahann Carroll reshaped politics. This is a nonfiction book on the list. By becoming the first Black woman to run for president of the United States in 1972, New York Representative Shirley Chisholm did more than break the ice in American politics. She left behind a coalition model that requires voters in the United States to show up and show out for the candidate they trust. Did she? Did she teach us this? Because some of y'all didn't get the fucking message. Okay. Sorry. In A More Perfect Party, MSNBC political analyst and co-host of Cricket Media's What a Day podcast, Juanita Tolliver, argues that this model is exactly what we must employ today to support Black women's electoral success. When actress and singer Diahann Carroll opened the doors of her opulent Hollywood home to Shirley Chisholm and her guest list of Black Panther Party members, lauded musicians, political supporters and adversaries, Hollywood movers and shakers, and philanthropists, she knew they were in for a fabulous party. Chisholm worked the room, laughing, eating, and meeting with each guest to show how their respective fields were integral to her political success and the betterment of the United States. A More Perfect Party explores this unreal coming together of Diahann Carroll, Huey P. Newton, Goldie Hawn, Berry Gordy, and more, and what their conversations tell us about our current political landscape. This book's gonna make me sad. It's gonna make me sad. It's gonna make me sad. Wow. Okay, but I am super excited to read the book. The next book on the list is by one of my favorite authors, Tia Williams. Audrey and Bash are just friends. It is her first young adult novel, and sometimes, you know, you just need to read about young, fresh love, right? This sweet, funny, electrifying romance stars 16-year-old Audrey Mercy Moore, first introduced in the New York Times bestseller 7 Days in June. Her mom was the female main character in 7 Days in June. Perfect for fans of Jenny Han and Nicole Yoon. I don't know those two people, but meet Audrey, a junior class president, debate team captain, unofficial student therapist, desperately in need of a good time. Meet Bash, mysterious new senior, everyone's crush, tall, floppy, great taste in jewelry, king of having a good time. It's the last day of school at Cheshire Prep, Brooklyn's elite academy, and Audrey Mercy Moore's life is a mess. Her dad canceled her annual summer visit to his Malibu beach house. Now she's stuck in a claustrophobic apartment with her mom, stepdad, and 1-year-old sister, aka the Goblin Baby. This is too cute. Under these circumstances, she'll never finish writing her self-help book, i.e. The Key to Winning Over Stanford's Admission Board. Cut to Bash Henry. Audrey hires him to be her fun consultant. His job to help her complete the Experience Challenge, her list of 5 wild dares designed to give her juicy book material. I love this. This is so cute. And I believe in teenagers being able to date, responsibly and respectfully and, with their parents' guidance. So I'm kind of excited to read this one because if you've, or when we went to the book signing for A Love Song for Ricky Wilde, Tia's daughter was there. And so I think they have like a really super cute, like mom-daughter relationship just from, how she posts her on Instagram and stuff. So I'm excited to read Audrey and Bash are just friends. I think it's going to be great. Let's see what's next on the list. Hope by Pope Francis. So your girl was raised Catholic. I have a very Catholic mother. I was raised very Catholic, okay? And Pope Francis in my lifetime has been a pope that is very intriguing to me. He's very much like, no, if you do something wrong, you will be removed. Like, he is very clear about not allowing things that cause me to leave the Catholic Church to continue to happen, and for that I am appreciative. Again, I don't really like memoirs, but his autobiography seems pretty interesting. So Pope Francis originally intended this exceptional book to appear only after his death, but the needs of our times and the 2025 Jubilee Year of Hope have moved him to make this precious legacy available now. Hope is the first autobiography in history ever to be published by a pope. Written over 16 years, this complete autobiography starts in the early years of the 20th century with Pope Francis' Italian roots and his ancestors' courageous migration to Latin America, continuing through his childhood, the euthanisms and preoccupations of his youth, his vocation, adult life, and the whole of his papacy up to the present day. Pope Francis really don't play that shit, and I kind of fuck with that. Like, just being a child raised in Catholicism and understanding like the ins and outs of the practice, I'm very intrigued to hear what he has to say. And the fact that he thinks we need this book now, I'm kind of like, all right, I'm in there. I'm gonna read it. Okay, the next book on my list is Bemused by Farrah Rochon. I was actually gifted an arc of this book. I'm halfway through it, and I think tomorrow I'm gonna put on my Muses sweatshirt, with drink out of my Muses cup, put my Muses ears on, and really just get into it. So this is the untold origin story of the 5 muses from Disney's Hercules, is revealed in this rollicking YA fantasy filled with mythical adventure, music, and unbreakable bonds of sisterhood. The muses narrated Hercules' story. Now in the first novel for fans, they'll narrate their own gospel truth. I'm so excited. Living in a quiet seaside village with their overprotective mother, the teenage sisters Calliope, Cleo, Melpheme, Tripsicor, I can't say her name, and Thalia are talented performers with no audience. If Callie had her way, she'd pursue her dream of writing epic stories in the center of Thebes. But family comes first, and as the oldest, she'd never leave her beloved sisters behind. Listen, Farrah Rochon is one of my favorite people on social media, and I know she's gonna do this book justice because she's a real like Disney adult. Like, not fuck with that heavy. Like, I be seeing her post and I be like, you're living the life, go back to Disney World, this is crazy. Like, she's like that. So I know that she did the Muses justice. I read her other Twisted Tale, the one about Tiana, and that was really super fun. This was not as long as the Tiana book, so I do think that it will keep my attention a little bit better than the Tiana book did. So I'm really super excited. And plus, I want it online. I want it, but I already pre-ordered it from a Black-owned bookstore in New Orleans so that I can get all the goodies that come. I think it comes with like a poster and a bookmark and so I'm really super excited to receive that little ditty when it comes in the mail. So the next book on my list doesn't have a date for when it's coming out. It doesn't really also have a real write-up about what it's going to be about. We just know that it's coming, okay? And that's going to be Sun Under Skin by Babalola. I always pray that I say her name right. The author of Love and Color and Honey and Spice. Honey and Spice is one of my favorite books of 2023. And so this is the follow-up book to Honey and Spice, and it follows students at a British university, and it very much gave a different world vibes. And so I don't know if we're picking up and they're still in school, or if we're picking up and they've now graduated. I don't know. I know nothing. I just know that somebody was like, it's a book 2 coming out, and I was like, where the cover at? We ain't got no cover. We it's not even on Goodreads. So I don't even know when it's coming out, but I do know that I am a fan and I will read it as soon as it comes out. That's all I got. Okay, the next book is by one of my new favorite indie authors, and it is Club Asylum by Granger. It comes out literally January 31st, and the book was so long that she made it into 2 books. So the first one is Club Asylum, and then there's a second one. I didn't write the name of that one down because I know I have to read Club Asylum first. Her books have been trending at 500 pages, so I know this one will probably be long. Cool, girl, I'm here with you. So basically, this is book 3 in the oh my goodness, why am I blanking right now? This is book 3 in the series that started with The Secret Life of Maggie Gray. Dang it, I hate whenever I do this. Okay, hold on, give me 2 seconds. Hold, please. It is World. I'm such a dork. Oh my God. Okay. The Secret World of Maggie Gray, and the school is Drew Collins. And so this is book 3 in the Drew Collins series. The book basically, the series opens with The Secret Life of Maggie Gray, and I'll talk about the book more in depth on my wrap up for the year. But just to give you a kind of like an overview so you can know why I'm putting book 3 on my list, is that this series is happening at a magical HBCU that I, in my brain, have decided happens in a pocket dimension. Wow, Flatbush is really loud today. Just trying to talk to the people. Thank you. It's gonna start back up. But it follows Maggie Gray as she gets accepted into the magical HBCU of Drew Collins, and her friends and what's happening. And what I like about this is that these are not children, these are adults. So because in this magical universe people live longer, you have to stay in school well into your 30s. And so these are very much grown, consenting adults. There are werewolves, there are vampires, there are fairies, there are witches, there are sirens, this is a very vast magical world, and I think it's very different than one we've seen. So I am really rooting Granger on, and I'm excited to get into book 3 of the Drew Collins series. The next book on the list is Allure of the Tides, and this author's last name is not one I can pronounce, and I don't like to mispronounce people's names, so I probably need to look up how to say their name, but it is here. I think it's Annalie. I'm not doing it. No, this is Allure of the Tides. Here's the book. You see it. Okay. And this is the sequel to Lure of the Wilds. And I just want y'all to know on Goodreads it says Allure of the Tides has descriptive copy, which is not yet available by the publisher. So we don't know what the book is about. We just know that we're picking up where we left off at the end of Allure of the Wilds. I remember that she's a human. They don't really have magic, but she's the only one who can go into this library, get this book. She has these two kind of like love interests, but not. We find out one is really kind of evil. The other one has been in love with her this whole time. It's like a huge switcheroo at the end of the book. And so I'm excited to get back into Allure of the Tides. And look at the cover. This cover is gorgeous. I cannot wait. It was good. It's a fantasy book. It was great. Okay. The next book that I am excited is coming out is Becoming Spectacular, The Rhythm of Resilience, from the first African-American Rockette. So I spent the majority of my early life as a dancer. I moved to New York to dance, and being a Rockette was like my dream job. And so this book is about the first African-American Rockette. And so I want to get in there. I want to hear what our good sis had to say. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, they just started letting them wear flesh-colored tights. It's a competitive job. It's a hard job. The dancing is difficult. The performance schedule is grueling. So I particularly want to hear everything this lady has to say. She probably got some good stuff to say over there, honestly. Okay. The next book on the docket is Camp Pounce, and it follows Adeline Heyy, and I'm actually really excited. I love Shy August. Okay, if you didn't read the first Camp Pounce book, now is a great time to start. I will say that it is very much erotic. It is an adult-only book, okay? And it follows big cat shifters. And so if you're not into shifting, like, this ain't the book for you, but I'm gonna read it. And so Camp Pounce is a big cat shifter. Why choose paranormal romance? If you don't like lots of sexy men willing to do anything for one woman, this book is not for you. Adeline Heyy is the life of the party, and she spends almost every weekend seeking out the best brunch spots in her collection of trust fund and Nepo baby friends. They sound fun to me. But now that her father's chasing the CEO chair at Heyy Chocolates, he's clipped her party wings, and if she doesn't comply with her father's demands, he'll clip her way of life. She definitely wants to skip out on a trip to Camp Pounce, but for all her partying ways, she has never had a rebellious bone in her body. Adeline decides to fight back the only way she knows how, and the consequences of her actions change everything. Will Adeline's adventure at the infamous Camp Pounce for a weekend of speed dating, meets mating, meets sleep-away camp be worth it, or worth giving up her party girl lifestyle? Listen, it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be sexy, and I'm super excited to read it. Okay, I can continue on with my list. The Deadly Fates is the next book by Danielle Clayton, and it is the Controverse book number 3. And this fantasy book is the third installment to the Marvelers world by Danielle Clayton, and we're returning for book 3 at the Global Magic School in the Sky. It's like the Arcanum, like, oh, it's so freaking cool. This girl's mom literally has a magical familiar, and he's an alligator, and his name is Gumbo. Like, what? What? Like, her grandmother or her family teaches her how to put like a magical bottle tree in her room for protection. Like, and all the other little marvelers are like, how do you do that? I'm a conjurer. I'm different from y'all. We are not the same, okay? One thing in this room is different, and it's me. Like, when Ella, Bridget, and Jason return for their 3rd year at the Arcanum Training Institute, they discover a dark plot brewing. Secrets and deception surround the magic school's founders, and the trio will stop at nothing to find out what really happened to the Institute's enigmatic conjure architect, because that's what we found out in the last book, is that a conjurer actually built the Arcanum, and then the Marvelous kicked his ass out. And why would he do that? Why would they do that? Because they be haters. As they dive deeper into the mysterious, it leads them to the underworld and the cards of deadly fate, a seemingly impenetrable prison full of villains, and worst of all, their own nemesis, Gia Trevelio, awaits for them, ready to wreak more havoc. With tensions brewing, conjure folks and marvelers at a fever pitch, the trio must face the living and the dead to get answers they need to protect their world. I'm really listening. Danielle Clayton be writing. She be writing, and I'm super excited. Super excited. Okay, the next book on the list is Bibliotherapy in the Bronx by Emily Rumble, and I follow her on social media, and this book is going to allow us to explore the history of bibliotherapy, which I don't really know much about. As a reader, I know I read, I'm a mood reader, but bibliotherapy is a deeply insightful exploration of the transformative power of literature. And kind of like when I read The Science of Libromancy, like, I'm excited to read this one. And again, I follow her on social media, and I think the things that she posts are really super cool. So I'm excited to hop into that book. The next book is Bones at the Crossroad by Ladarian Williams. And this book is the continuation of Blood at the Root. This is book number 2. Let me just say this. Let me say, because this, and you know what? I'm not going to say it here. I'm going to wait until I do my review of my 25 or my 24 books for 2024. Just know I'm looking forward to the sequel for Blood at the Root. I'm looking forward to it. And you won't see a lot of y'all favorite books on my top 25 list, because I keep it cute and I keep it for real. And we gonna put a pin in that. But in the sequel to the explosive instant New York Times bestseller Blood at the Root, Malik returns to Cayman University. So see, this is why I'm getting my magical HBCUs messed up, because we were eating this year, right? We had Drew Collins with Maggie. We got Cayman University over here, which is the HBCU for the young, black, and magical, only to find new dangers and new secrets. It's his freshman year at Cayman, and all 17-year-old Malik wants to do is be a normal college student, go to parties, choose a major, talk to girls, learn some magic. But instead, he's reeling from a summer of discovery, loss, and betrayal, and still uncovering the truth about his powers and his legacy as the descendant of a powerful magical lineage. His lineage is so cool. Okay, sorry. The family he only just discovered is already fractured beyond repair, and the mother he thought he knew and risked everything to find might be the biggest danger to the new life he's building. Ladarian didn't have to leave us on that little cliffhanger in book 1, but I'm still rocking with you, brother. I'm still with you. All right, so the next book is The Unexpected Diva by Tiffany L. Warren. Before the Civil War, Black opera singer Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield reigned supreme on Northern stage, even performing at Buckingham Palace. Novelist Tiffany L. Warren brings this remarkable but forgotten diva's remarkable story to life for modern readers. Born into slavery on a Mississippi plantation, Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield has been raised in the safety of Philadelphia's Quaker community by a wealthy adoptive mother. Sheltered and educated, Eliza's happy childhood always includes music lessons to nurture her unique gift, a glorious 3-octave singing voice that leaves listeners in awe. I'm excited to read this. So this kind of reminded me of The Personal Librarian. Let me see if she had anything to do with that, because I feel like her other books might have been on my list. Maybe not. I'm a liar. See, this is why I gotta remember who writes things that I read. This is crazy. But it kind of has that same vibe, right? So I'm really super excited. Like I said, I love a good history book. This is why I'm reading Josephine Baker. This is why I'll be reading this one. Was there another historical situation on here? Oh, The More Perfect Party and Harlem Rap City. See, I like a little history. That was my favorite subject in school. Okay, the next book is Black in Blues: How a Color Tells the Story of My People by Imani Perry. A surprising and beautiful meditation on the color blue and its fascinating role in Black history and culture. From National Book Award winner Imani Perry, throughout history, the concept of Blackness has been remarkably intertwined with another color, blue. In daily life, it is evoked in countless ways. Blue skies and blue water offer hope for that which lies beyond the current conditions, but blue is also the color of deep melancholy and heartache, echoing Louis Armstrong's color, "What did I do to be so black and blue?" I'm very excited for this book. In this book, celebrated author Imani Perry uses the world's favorite color as a springboard for a riveting emotional, cultural, and spiritual journey as an examination of race and Blackness that transcends politics and ideology. Perry traces both blue and Blackness from Africa that were traded for human life. Oh, she's going deep. Okay, I'm down. So we know her as a poet, and so now I'm kind of excited to see her in her nonfiction writing bag. Actually, I'm very excited for that. All right, the next book on my list, a little lighter in weight, is Love Spells Trouble by Nia Davenport. And this is a magical YA story. And you should see me in A Crown Meets Black Girl Magic, in an enchanting rom-com about a reluctant witch caught up in a fake dating scheme. Oh, all the things I love in this world. Witches and humans have always had issues. Kaden is well aware of that. Her witch mom was shunned by high society when she fell in love with Kaden's human dad, and now her family bakery is in trouble due to wealthy witches gentrifying their neighborhood. So when Kaden realizes she unknowingly went on a date with witch it boy Kai Carter, it feels like things can't get any worse. But then her father's bakery has an influx of new customers, hoping to get a glimpse of Kai's new girl and a solution to her family problems. Kaden absolutely cannot be with a coven boy, but that doesn't mean she can't pretend to. The two start fake dating to save her family's business, but even though she's doing this for her family, Kaden knows she also is betraying them. Oh, this is gonna be good. I think this is gonna be good. I have actually not read anything by Nia Davenport, and I know I probably should have. But today's a great day to start. Right? It's a great day to start. Today seems like the perfect day to start. Okay. All right. The next book, I don't know if we're calling it Skin, but it's like S with 2 parentheses and then KIN by this author. I'm not doing it. I'm not, y'all. Y'all ain't finna talk about me mispronouncing nobody's names. I need to go see how this author pronounces their names. This book also has a 4.26 on the rating scales from the people who already have it. So it's looking good. From this award-winning New York Times bestselling author comes her groundbreaking contemporary fantasy debut, a novel in verse based on Caribbean folklore about the power of inherited magic and the price we must pay to live the life we don't learn for. The book follows 15-year-old Marisol, the daughter of a sequoiant. Every new moon, she sheds her skin like the many women before her, shifting into a fireball witch who must fly into the night and slowly slip from the lives of others to sustain her own. But Brooklyn is no place for fireball witches, with all its bright lights, shut windows, and boat-locked doors. While Marisol hoped they would leave their old traditions behind when they immigrated from the islands, she knows this will never happen while she remains ensnared by the one person who keeps her chained to her magical past, her mother. Magical life in Brooklyn. I live in Brooklyn. Let's do it. I'm ready. Okay, the next book is Talk to Me, Lessons from a Family Forged by History by Rich Benjamin. And this is a piecingly powerful memoir, a grandson's account of the coup that ended his grandfather's presidency of Haiti, the secrecy that shrouded that wound within his family, and his urgent efforts to know his mother despite the past. Rich Benjamin's mother, Danielle, grew up the eldest in a large family, living a comfortable life in Port-au-Prince. Her mother was a school teacher, her father a populist hero, a labor leader, and a politician. The first true champion of the Black masses, he eventually became the country's president in 1957. But 2 weeks after his inauguration, that life was shattered. Soldiers took Danielle's parents at gunpoint and put them on a plane in New York, a coup hatched by the Eisenhower administration. Child. Jesus. Danielle and her siblings were kidnapped and ultimately smuggled out of the country. Growing up, Rich knew little of this. No one in his family spoke of it. He didn't know why his mother struggled with emotional connection, why she was so erratic, so quick to anger, and she in turn knew so little about him, about the emotional pain he moved through as a child, the physical agony from his blood disease, while coming to terms with his sexuality at the dawn of the AIDS crisis. Heavy. This one's gonna be heavy, but I think the theme of my reading next year is gonna literally be revisiting the past to know how to forge a way forward, right? Like, ever since November, y'all, I've been down. Your girl's been blue. I know we taking our great migration step back, but I do think that there is some power in revisiting history and really understanding like what has come before, so you can kind of know where you're headed and how you would like to approach your own future. And so I do think that's why so many of my books have this kind of like historical feel to them. It's a lot of like nonfiction, it's a lot of historical happenings, but I think that's because at this point it's necessary. Just saying. All right. The next one on my list is another auto by author for me, R.F. Kuang, and this is Kata Basis. The cover has yet to be revealed, but Dante's Inferno meets Susanna Clark's Piranesi in this all-new dark academia fantasy from R.F. Kuang, the #1 New York Times bestselling author of Babel and Yellowface, both of which I read and loved, in which two graduate students must put aside their rivalry to journey to hell to save their professor's soul, perhaps at the cost of their own. Done. I'm gonna read it. Hope y'all join me, because she really be writing her ass off, and I like an author that walks the walk and talks the talk. When they were in when Macmillan was in the city striking, she was like, I'm one of their best-selling authors, but I'm here. I fuck with that. I'm gonna try to breeze through these last two books. I'm sorry, I've just been chatting, y'all. Hope y'all okay. Some almost hour-long video. I'm so sorry. Okay, Original Sins, the miseducation of Black and Native children and the construction of American racism is the next book on my I told y'all I am really militant this year, boy. Woo! Okay. Why don't our schools work? Why don't they work? I used to work in youth development. This is really big for me. Eve L. Ewing tackles this question from a new angle. What if they're actually doing what they were built to do? She argues that instead of being the great equalizer, America's classrooms were designed to do the opposite, to maintain the nation's inequalities. It's a task at which they excel. If all children could just get an education, the logic goes they would have the same opportunities later in life. But this historical tour de force makes it clear that the opposite is true. The United States school system has played an instrumental role in creating and upholding racial hierarchies, preparing children to expect unequal treatment throughout their lives. Done. Period. We're reading it. Hope y'all are ready for the ride, baby. All right. And then we're going to end out our 25 most anticipated list with one of my other favorite authors, Jessica Cage, with I Accidentally Hooked Up with a Vampire. And this is the follow-up. I think it's called the Accidental series, but the first one was I Accidentally Summoned a Demon Boyfriend, and now we are accidentally hooking up with a vampire. And who needs a job when you just signed a new mortgage? When Whitney Harris loses her dream job as an art broker, she drowns in her sorrows in a few too many cocktails, but her night takes a turn for the bizarre when she accidentally hooks up with Domino, a drop-dead gorgeous vampire with a flair for the dramatic and a taste for trouble. Now, instead of just worrying about her next paycheck, Whitney finds herself in a world where Domino's vampire affiliates have their sights set on her because she's special. Duh. It's always a Black woman being special, and then I gotta have a demon boyfriend or a vampire boyfriend. This is gonna be fun. Jessica Cage writes amazing fantasy books. I've read a few of her other series, and so I'm super excited to continue this one. And that is a wrap, everyone. Those are the 25 books that I am looking forward to reading most in 2025. Okay. Woo! Yes. Okay, but I think we discovered some things. Right? We discovered some things. I think we're going to be reaching to the past a lot to figure out our way forward. I think we're also going to be reading light, fun fantasy and light, fun romance also to, you know, even it out and just make our way forward. And yeah, so please drop any of the books down in the chat that you are excited to read. If you have made it this far in the book, please don't hesitate to leave a stack of books. I know today's video was a little bit long, and I'm gonna try to fly through the next 2 videos because I still have to give you guys my top 10 book boyfriends of 2024, and I want to give you my top 24 books of 2024, even though I could probably make a top 10. I really could. Okay, I might do top 10 and top 10 because this is stressing me out. I just gave you a 45-minute video. Oh my goodness. But please, please, please have a wonderful, wonderful celebration for New Year, however you do that. My black eyed peas are soaking. I'm getting ready to cook. I'm also going to hang out with my friend and do a little scrapbooking, and that's how I'm bringing in the new year. So with all love, with all light, happy new year, you guys. I will see you all in 2025, where I bring you my top 10 book boyfriends and my top 10 books, because we're not doing 24 because that's just ridiculous. But until next time, everyone, bye.